Autumn, 1492 DR. A fireball tears through Trollskull Alley, bodies on the cobbles, smoke over slate roofs. It isn't random. It's the opening move in a gang war for the Stone of Golorr, a sentient relic tied to a hidden dragon hoard and a fortune missing from Waterdeep's coffers. The Zhentarim and the Xanathar Guild dive for the prize, while the City Watch scrambles. Welcome to Faerûn's real dungeons, the streets. But before we get into that, if you love hearing the lowdown on the lore we bring you, do us a huge favor and smash that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel out and keeps it so we can keep bringing you content that steals your heart like a Zhent on a mission. Anyway, back to the video. The Shadow Thieves of Amn. In Amn, profit isn't a motive, it's a mandate. And the Shadow Thieves wrote the fine print. From Athkatla to Grimoire, the guild skims tariffs, brokers smuggling lanes, and declares theft-free zones that miraculously remain untouched because the thieves enforcing them say so. Influence rides the currents of merchant consortia and the Council of Six, while robed enforcers of arcane law conveniently overlook contraband when the bribes are precise and punctual. Their underworld crown was tested when a rival syndicate led by an undead predator tried to seize Athkatla's veins. What followed was a citywide knife fight that spilled from plazas to catacombs until adventurers tipped the balance. The Shadow Master's people bled, adapted, and out-administered the competition, proving that in Amn, the guild isn't just part of the economy, it is the economy's shadow cabinet. They endure because they've captured the system that should restrain them. The Arcane Brotherhood. From the host tower of the Arcane in Luskan, the Brotherhood treats knowledge like currency and leverage like art. Under archmages such as Arclam Greeth, they bent the city's high captains into compliance, taxed the sea lanes, and even sailed west to conquer Ruatim before coastal powers forced a retreat. A later crusade from the south broke the host tower's grip for a time, but the victory curdled into chaos as pirates and politics devoured the gains. The Brotherhood returned with rebuilt stones and a calmer public face, then went back to doing what it does best, turning secrets into tariffs and spells into sieges. Their reach is coastal and cold. Makath the Crimson tracked lost Draconic and Netherese lore into the sea of moving ice, only to be seized by the ancient white dragon, Arathottir, also known as Old White Death, and imprisoned on the drifting berg of Oyavigatun. Forced to work amid plundered scrolls and spellbooks, she cataloged the worm's trophies and noted cult activity along the northern trade lanes. When rescuers finally drew her out, her translations, runes of warding, notes on white dragon lairs, and reports on hoard caravan routes shaped the counterstrikes that followed. That's the Brotherhood in a nutshell. If a secret exists, they will price it. If a price exists, they will weaponize it. They endure because rare lore appreciates, and they intend to collect the dividend. The Cult of the Dragon. The cult began with a prophecy, a death whisper that turned an archmage's faith toward dragons that don't die. For generations, the creed exalted dracoliches, dead dragons shall rule the world, and its rights were written in grave dust and hoarded gold. In the chaos of later decades, a high priest reframed the vision. Unite the 5 chromatic voices, gather the hordes, and call the Dragon Queen herself. Worm speakers took their colors and their orders, and the cult's old obsession found a new horizon. Operating along the Sword Coast, Western Heartlands, and the North, the cult maintained city cells in Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate, and Neverwinter, while staging camps near dragon lairs and along caravan roads. Their efforts converge on the Well of Dragons in the Sunset Mountains, where treasure hoards are stockpiled and major rites are prepared. They specialize in hoard gathering via raids and worm taxes, laundering wealth through merchant caravans, recruiting Dragonclaw rank and file and Dragonfang officers under color-coded worm speakers, conducting Draco-Lich rites from their older creed, and coercive diplomacy with chromatic dragons, often reinforced by alliances with exiled red wizards. When pressure mounts, they break into cells, regroup around a dragon's territory, and re-knot the network around the next horde. From there, their method is brutally straightforward. Levy worm taxes beneath circling wings, enforce obedience with sudden blue dragon raids, and push coin and relics along horde caravans bound for the Well of Dragons. Exiled red wizards manage rites and logistics, while color-marked worm speakers coordinate cells across the coast. City-states and factions fought to break the summoning, from ambushed caravans to councils of war, yet the lesson endures. Fanatic faith welded to tight logistics can move mountains and hordes. The cult survives because belief, banked like coin, buys armies. The Xanathar Guild. Waterdeep's underworld answers to a single unblinking eye. The beholder known as Xanathar rules by paranoia, refined into policy. Lieutenants compete for approval, failures vanish, and secrets feed the maw of a growing empire. Operations are split between brute efficiency and surgical fear. Ahmaergo, a Duergar majordomo, keeps the machine running and the coin flowing. Nihilur, a mind flayer, seeds the sewers with intellect devourers to stalk targets. And even a humble goldfish named Silgar is tended like a relic, because keeping the eye calm keeps everyone alive. Centered on Waterdeep's underways and harbor, the guild works from sewer layers beneath the dock, castle, and trades wards, with feeder tunnels that link into Skullport. Safe houses and fronts in the dock and south wards, warehouses, gambling rooms, and quietly hostile taverns launder cargo and coin. Their core rackets include smuggling contraband and stolen goods through culverts and hidden keys, extortion and protection in dockside neighborhoods, burglary and fencing, targeted kidnappings and assassinations, and information brokering and blackmail powered by spies, gazers, and intellect devourers. When the Watch tightens the net, the Guild shifts traffic below the city, using old Skullport routes to move forbidden goods well outside the law's reach. When the Stone of Golorr surfaced, the Guild moved with ruthless speed. A fireball in the North Ward signaled that the game had begun. Streets turned into kill boxes, safe houses changed hands by the hour, and a noble villa became a blood-slick chessboard as Gent agents and Xanathar killers clawed for the same relic. Bribed officials looked away, the Watch hauled bodies, and the Guild showed the city how a crime lord with tremor sense can shake an entire capital. They endure because fear is centralized. One aberrant mind, many eyes, no mercy. The Guild of Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate doesn't just tolerate organized crime, it delegates. Known simply as the Guild, this syndicate functions as the city's other law, negotiating turf, taxing smuggling lanes, and mediating disputes, so violence stays out of the streets and coin keeps flowing. From a concealed guild hall beneath the lower city, Guildmaster Nine Fingers Keen directs burglar crews, fences, and fixers with a mix of favors, fees, and fear. Entry is by sign and signet. Meetings are by whisper and ward, and every job pays a tithe. When the absolute crisis hit in 1492 DR, the Guild's careful order buckled under outside pressure. A wave of Stone Lord robberies rattled the counting houses and docks, until Nine Fingers traced the chaos to a familiar legend acting under hostile influence. Old allies in the Harpers helped force a reckoning that spilled from vault ambushes to sewer pursuits, and finally to the Guild's own hall, where blades were drawn and loyalties declared. Some chose the resurgent Zhentarim, others stood with the city's underduke. Either way, the Guild proved what it has always claimed. In Baldur's Gate, you can fight the law, but you'll still pay the Guild. Their method is methodical. Smuggling routes thread through cisterns and culverts, passwords open stonework to reveal armories and counting rooms, fences move contraband with ledgers as tidy as any factors. Informants in taverns and toll booths keep city eyes pointed elsewhere. And when a rogue crew gets greedy, the Guild's response is swift, surgical, and very quiet. They endure because their rackets are woven into the city's daily business, unseen until someone tugs the wrong thread. The Zhentarim, the Black Network. The Black Network exists to control the lifeblood of the realms: roads, coin, and information. Born in the shadow of Zhentarim Keep under the iron wills of Man-Shun and the Black Lord's clergy, the Zhentarim grew from hired blades into a machine that sells protection with one hand and manufactures peril with the other. Caravans secured by Zhent contracts moved safely. Rivals who refused found bridges burned, guards bribed, or monsters suddenly prowling their routes. With strongholds like the Citadel of the Raven to anchor their reach, mercenary companies became the scaffolding of a shadow state. Their audacity is measured in the places they chose to strike. During the time of troubles, Zhent priests and mages pushed into Shadowdale, aiming for the Twisted Tower and the heart of the Dales. The locals, aided by the Archmage Elminster Omar, broke the thrust. But the message landed. The Moonsea's iron fist could reach deep into the Heartlands. Decades later, armored banners bearing the Black Network's sigil marched again, this time occupying Shadowdale during the wider war in Cormanthor, until allied blades and stubborn Dalesfolk drove them out. The lesson the Zhentarim took away, and teach to this day, is simple. Hold the roads, squeeze the markets, and kingdoms will kneel without a siege tower. In Waterdeep, the network's street war with the beholder-ruled Xanathar Guild erupted over the stone of Golorr, with ambushes from Trollskull Alley to a noble villa as both sides chased the same cash. In Baldur's Gate, Zhent factors ran afoul of the city's guild when covert shipments and the risen road couriers drew attention to a password-warded safehouse beneath Joaquin's Rest. Farther south, Amian officials long favored the Shadow Thieves, forcing Zhent cells to operate through fronts and smugglers instead of banners. And along the Sword Coast during the Dragon Crises, Zhent agents competed with the Cult of the Dragon for relics and routes. Proof that even among criminals, markets have borders worth fighting over. Conclusion. From beholder mob bosses to black-robed archmages, these syndicates don't just commit crimes, they steer history. When caravans vanish, when bridges fall, or when dragons blot out the sun, follow the prophet. In the realms, shadows don't hide power. They are power. If you enjoyed this dive into the underbelly of the realms, we think you might like some of our others. Check out one of our videos on demon princes, or one of our most recent videos. Until next time, adventurer, may your rolls be high and your loot legendary.